Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call the West Covina City Council to order. This is Tuesday, May 6th, our regular meeting. We were in closed session. Apologize, we're starting a little bit late. We'll begin tonight with our invocation, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilmember Mike Spence. If I could have Pastor Grace Wubaki from Faith Community Church, please come forward. Please rise.
Will you bow your heads? Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful day. We thank you for the gift of life, for health, and that we are in our right minds and able to be here this evening. We pray for your guidance and your wisdom upon this meeting here today. We thank you, Lord, for our leadership. We thank you for Mayor Steve Herford, Mayor Pro Tem Frederick Sykes, Councilmember Mike Spence, Councilmember James Toma, and Councilmember Corey Warshaw. We thank you for your wisdom and the decisions that are being made here today. And for all of us who are gathered here today who have a heart and a passion for the city of West Covina, we thank you for this beautiful city. We thank you for protecting our first responders, our firemen and policemen, and all those who work so hard each and every day to keep us safe. And Lord, on this eve of Mother's Day, we thank you for all the mothers and just pray your special blessing upon them. And we just thank you. We are so grateful for the opportunity to live and to work in this beautiful city. Be with us this evening in all the things that are discussed. And we thank you for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. City Clerk, roll call.
Mayor Herford.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sykes.
Here.
Councilman Spence. Here. Councilmember Toma.
Here.
Councilmember Warshaw.
Here.
Okay, as I stated, we were in closed session. City Attorney, is there anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The city and the successor agency met in closed session to consider pending litigation. There's basically three cases: City of West Covina versus Hassan Imports, that's the Los Angeles Superior Court case, and there's also two bankruptcy court cases entitled In Re Hassan Imports Partnership. On all of those cases, the council received a brief explanation of the status of the cases, and there was no reportable action on those items. The City Council then met in closed session to consider the public employment of the City Attorney. There was a brief report by staff, and there was no reportable action on that item. They also met to consider the potential lease for a cell tower at Palmolive Park. Staff gave a presentation to the City Council on that item, and there was no reportable action on that item. The City Council was also given a brief presentation regarding labor negotiations with various employee organizations. I won't go through the whole list. They are listed on the agenda. There was a very brief presentation made by staff, by the city manager, and by the HR director, and there was no reportable action on that item. There were two items of potential litigation, one being the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Layton. We were given a briefing by Special Workmen's Compensation Council on that item, and there was no reportable action taken. The other item was a claim of Debbie Dominguez. That claim was denied 401 with Mayor Herford not being present for that action. That completes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any changes to the agenda tonight?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. On the successor agency's agenda on page 2, SA1, which is the approval of minutes, we are pulling that from the agenda here tonight. I'm sorry, it's SA1. I stand corrected. SA1.
Got it. That's what you said. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. Anything else? Is that it?
That is it.
Thank you, City Manager. Okay, we have a few presentations tonight. About 2 weeks ago, I was up in the City Manager's office, and some students came in from West Covina High School on the robotics team asking if there was somewhere they could display their robot. And I said, gosh, we really don't have a place that people come into all the time other than City Hall. And if you put it in one of the offices, nobody's going to see it. So I suggested they come to the council meeting and give us a presentation. So with that, they're going to give us a PowerPoint presentation. I think they're going to try and do the robot too. So please proceed. Thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Richard Medina. I'm actually one of the mentors for the robotics team here at West Covina. Oh, thank you. Ooh. My name is Richard Medina. I'm, again, one of the mentors for the West Covina High School robotics team. I've actually been mentoring for 9 years. The program has been at West Covina High School since 2002. Right now, as you can see with the number, in 2002 we were designated team number 968. Now there are teams in the numbers of 5,000. So we're a really old team, but we've done a lot of great things for a lot of our students throughout those years. And today I'm actually here with most of our student leaders. We have Elvia. She's her second year in the team this year, and she'll be our president next year. We have Julian. He's our current vice president, was our driver for our robot competition, and is a senior going to Cal Poly Pomona. We have Andrew Pan. He's going to be our secretary next year, and he'll be talking about the robot to you guys when we get to that. We have Wilson, who's our team treasurer, and we'll be doing that next year. And this is his second year, going on third, right? Junior? Oh, you're a junior, okay. And he was our driver as well for the robot. And then we have Christy, who's a senior going to San Francisco State next year. And she's been kind of the person doing all this and getting us out here to show you guys the robot. So with that, I'll let the girls take over and talk to you a little bit more about our team, okay? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elvia Guajardo. And what we're going to talk about is basically like the other stuff, like basically we're just going to talk about like the main stuff about us, who we are, and like why we're here. So first we're just going to talk about us. Our team is part of a worldwide organization called FIRST. FIRST is basically for inspiration and recognition of science and technology. Their mission is to take learning beyond the classroom and inspire students to pursue their education and careers in technology related to the fields. What the great thing about FIRST is that we can have like daily contact with like career, like college mentors, and that's good though because it's good that because we actually have more experience in the high school level than like any other high schools I can have, which is one really good thing. And our mission is basically to empower students with leadership skills and educate them in engineering and technology principles. The robotics program provides students with unique hands-on experience that challenges the students to work hard and apply the academic knowledge to the real-world engineering project. One of the great things about this program is basically that they give hundreds of scholarships and develop skills that will last their entire lives. Some of our overall goals is to teach and inspire students engineering, science, and technology, partnership with the mentors. One of our main things is basically to spread the word FIRST and our Robotics West Covina to the whole community. Our competitive goals is to build a successful robot through the combination of both students and mentors. And what else we want to do is increase manufacturing design capabilities through the new technology, machinery, and sponsors. And I'm going to hand it off to Christy.
Hi guys. Okay, so here are just a quick slide of all of the sponsors that we have from past years to current years. And thankfully to all of these sponsors, we were able to accomplish so many regional events and championship events. And so as for our accomplishments, we currently hold a 5 regional championship title. We hold 8 regional finalist titles. We have received 6 technical awards. In 2005, we also completed a SWAT robot for the West Covina Police Department. That's our way of contributing so far. and we are ranked 25th out of 2,065 teams for most wins. We currently we have showed 7 World Championships appearances, and in 2006, in the World Championship, we were a finalist. In 2008, we were placed 3rd in the first World Championship event in Atlanta, Georgia. In 2008, we were placed, in 2011, we were placed 4th in the first championship event in St. Louis. And I'm gonna hand over to Andrew for a quick demonstration of this year's robot.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so what you see here is our 2014 competition robot. We entered this robot to this year's game called Aerial Assist. In Aerial Assist, we are put into alliance with 2 other teams. Then we face off against another alliance that's made up of 3 other teams. Our objective for this game is to launch this 24-inch ball to an 8-foot high goal with a 26-inch opening. To get to where we need, our robot runs on a 6-wheel drive base, which allows us to maneuver quick with ease and able to make sharp turns whenever we need. To launch the ball into the goal, we use a catapult system. This catapult is tensioned by surgical tubings and pulled back by our custom-made gearbox, which we personally designed. To get the ball into the bot, we have an intake system powered by pneumatics, which allows it to go up and down. Once the ball is inside, we will now drive to near the high goal, and we'll shoot the ball inside, like so. Once the ball is lodged in the goal, our robot will then go to a human player area where the ball will be manually loaded into the bot. They will simply throw it in like so. Once we have the ball inside our bot again, we could do either aim for another goal or get assist points by passing off to our bots by out-taking it. To maximize the amount of points, we get 3 assists and then score it in. This process will repeat over and over again for the course of 2 minutes, the length of the entire match, and then whoever scores the most points will win the match. And that is all.
So for our purpose today, we are here just to inform you and kind of show you, demonstrate to you what our club looks like, what we do, and what our robot looks like this year. I know a lot of you guys are curious. So I would like some of you to, we actually passed out flyers and some sponsorship packets, and we would love for you to help us, help our community, help West Covina in getting our voice out there and getting robotics voices out there, make us grow as a very academic and innovative club, and to help us get into more regional and championship events year after year. And that concludes our demonstration presentation. Thank you so much.
Richard, could we have the team come up, and we have a little proclamation for him here. Christy was the one who came to the city manager's office, so thank you for bringing this to our attention. And I want to give credit to Mike Spence for this comment, because it wasn't from me, but he said, if any of you get out of line, we're going to shoot that thing at you. So, okay. Richard, did you want to say anything else? I know you introduced everybody, but I think we're all impressed. We're very impressed by the team and your successes, and we wish you the best as you go on to college or wherever you go with your education. But thank you so much. We have a proclamation from the City Council for the robotics team for their participation. Yeah, can you bring it over? That's what you told me his name was, Thumper. Yeah, there you go. guys.
Thank you, guys.
Could I have Romeo Benares, the supervisor from the West Covina Home Depot, please come forward? You know what? I think everybody in this community appreciates this Home Depot in our city. I know I'm a frequent shopper there, and I think a lot of our residents are. One of the great things about having a Home Depot is their involvement in the community. Tonight we're going to present Romeo with a certificate of recognition for outstanding community services. A couple of weeks ago, Home Depot employees volunteered their time and received donations in excess of $10,000 to repaint and add river rock to the Civic Center courtyard fountain, which, if you don't know where that is, it's right outside the doors here down in the patio area. So we want to thank Home Depot, and Romeo, thank you for your leadership. We appreciate everything you do and you stepping forward in our community. Thank you so much. Did you want to say anything?
I just want to bring my manager, Paul. Come on up, Paul. He's the one who made this possible through Home Depot. And also Glidden Rep, Robert, they donate all the paint.
Great. Did you want to say anything, Paul?
Yeah, I want to say that every Home Depot associate wears an apron that has a values wheel on it, and obviously customer service is one of our high values, but one of the other values is giving back. And this is one of the things we do to give back. I know we've done some big projects with veterans, and we look forward to more community projects with West Covina.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'd like to call forward Armando Marintes. He's the principal at Coronado High School here in West Covina. The state of California recently recognized Coronado High School as a model continuation school, and it has continually demonstrated excellence in instructional strategies, curriculum, school management, culture, guidance, and counseling. We have some terrific schools in the community, and we really do want to recognize you for your success year after year, not just this year, but thank you, and we have a proclamation from the City Council. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Yeah. I'm principal. I would always say something. I didn't bring any robots tonight, but I did bring some staff members, and I'd like them to come up also. Representing classified staff is Karen Mendoza, my office manager, and two of our teachers, Rebecca Peters and Irvin Thomas, and Mr. Chowdhury also, Abdul Chowdhury. It was a competitive process for us to be a model continuation school. I always introduce myself as the principal of the best continuation school in all of California, because I truly believe that. There are only 24 model schools in the whole state, and we are one of them. And this is the 4th consecutive year that we've been a model school, and I'm very proud to be principal and to be part of West Covina. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. On behalf of the City Council, I present you with this proclamation. Excuse me. I might need that water. Can you hand me that water? If you haven't noticed, our air conditioning here at City Hall is broken. So when we were in closed session, we were about an hour and a half with no air conditioning. So I apologize. I'm a little bit dry. Could I please have come forward Lisa Ferrante, the Public Affairs Director for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Hi, Lisa. Thanks. Hi, Paul. Hi. So I think I've met Paul before. Members from several of the local wards of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints volunteered on April 26th, cleaning and repainting picnic shelters at Gingrich, Shadow Oak, and Friendship Park. Mike, I think you were a little bit involved in the organization, and we really do appreciate your organization stepping up and doing this for our community. It just shows how much involvement we have with our churches and other organizations in the city. So on behalf of the City Council, I want to present you with a proclamation, and thank you for all the volunteers that came out that day and did a super job for us. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Should I say a few words? I'm sorry.
We had about 250 people from the communities of Hacienda Heights, Roland Heights, West Covina, Covina, Diamond Bar, not Diamond Bar, but Walnut, La Puente, and Baldwin Park. So it was a big group. I wanted to comment on how beautiful the parks already were. They're very well maintained. I was up there painting the inner structure of the picnic area, and it's now a little browner and a little newer, but it was in good shape. We were happy to be there.
All right, super. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda is our oral communications. We ask that you fill out a yellow card so that we have your name and we can call you forward. Our first speaker tonight is Win-Win Zhang.
Good evening, Mayor Bird and all council members. And good evening, Mr. Zhang, City Manager and all staff. And good evening, all the residents in the audience. And my name is Wang Zhang. I'm the library manager, the West Covina library manager. And I would like to make a quick announcement. I saw the high school students are here, and before they're gone, I would like to tell you what's up at the library for you, for teens. Every Thursday afternoon, it's all about the teens. So we have teens programs starting at 4 o'clock and every Thursday. And this coming Thursday, we have a teen game day. And next Tuesday, we have teen movie night. And the week after, where we have a teen button program. You come and design your own button. And the last Thursday will be teen Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. And every first Saturday, we have a teen advisory board meetings and group of teams gather together, brainstorming ideas for teen programs. All the teen programs are from the teens. Okay. And come on in to the library and join us for fun. Thank you. And also we have a couple of special programs coming up. And next week will be the Children's Book Week. We will celebrate it by learning to draw characters from the popular Wimpy Kid series. And the cartoonist Dave Boatman will take the kids step by step through the drawing processes. And also the children whoever participate will have the opportunity to win Wimpy Kid books and other prizes. And there are a lot of programs going on in the library. And if you play chess, you love play chess, and I have good news for you. And every last Saturday from 1 o'clock, we will have a chess tournament. It is open to all ages, and come and join us. It begins at 1 o'clock. And also, this month is the Asian Pacific Heritage Month, and to celebrate it, we are going to have a special program called Wife Cake. And you might wonder, what is a wife cake? What is called a wife cake? And why a wife cake is an old lady cake in Chinese. And so the presenter, Phoebe Cho, will answer all these questions, and she will also demonstrate how to make a wife cake, and also give you a taste of this legendary Hong Kong taste. We have lots of programs going on at the library. Please come to the library and find out what's more. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Lola Finley.
Good evening, council members and residents. I wanted to start by thanking our police department. We had our neighborhood watch meeting this week, and we had a really great turnout. We probably had about 80-plus people, and we had the opportunity to have Lieutenant Patton come out and speak, and we had Officer Myers and Officer, I'm going to destroy his name, Mekwaya. They did a great job. They informed us about the weather being, kids getting out of school, what warm weather brings, maintaining your yards, things like that. They answered some other issues in the neighborhood that the police incidents that happened, and it was, we're really thankful that they came out. They did a great job. But I wanted also to discuss 3 things, or actually 4 things that my neighbors have brought up that need to be addressed. I have spoke with Shannon Yahtzee already. Some of them are already being taken care of. And basically, I want to just make you guys informed, so we hopefully will, when we get the funding, we can get some of these issues addressed. So we had 12 issues. I'm just bringing up 4 of them. The 2 major ones are Amar and Azusa. The businesses, one is where Seafood City is, and one is where Woodside Village complex, where the new Sprint is and Pep Boys. On the bakery side, by Seafoods City, we're having an issue with people hanging out. They loader over there and they're urinating, and so we addressed it with the police. But I just wanted, because you guys are in charge, I want to make sure that this gets addressed. It's a continual. It's been going on for years. They go away, then they come back. They go and they come back, and that is also starting to happen in our Target area and the entrance by our Starbucks. The other issue that came up with Target is the vacant lot. In that area. It comes up all the time, and we haven't really addressed it because we're not quite sure what we can do in that area, but we were understood that they were going to build something there, and it hasn't, and it's semi being maintained, semi not being maintained. A lot of trash and shopping carts and things accumulate there, but it is really bringing down the area because you have that area not being maintained. You have Seafood City having the issues. And then on the other side where the Pep Boy is, we have a Goodwill there, and people just drop off things, not behind the market, but up in front by Pep Boy. Like right now, I think there's a recliner there. I know Shannon addressed it, so it might have been picked up. I didn't notice it this evening. But those 3 areas, they're so close together, we really need to address those issues. The other area was the exit coming out of Target. It has nothing to do with timing. It's just the way that the stop sign is painted. As cars are coming in, it's difficult for cars to get out. And I think it's going to end up being a bad situation with the weather being as hot as it is. Someone's going to get really upset. I can see a fight happen or something happening right there. So hopefully, I don't know if that's a city issue or the landlord's issue, but if we can get the exit right there being addressed. My 4th issue is a residential issue. He's here tonight, Vincent Wong. We have been trying to deal, not me personally, he has been trying to deal with this since 2012. He's called the police, has reports, and he's also talked to city council members, and I've addressed it, the issue, and Shannon's going to see what he can do. And I know we don't have the funds, but what it is on Kimberly, and I'm going to send pictures to all of you guys, and hopefully you guys will drive the area. On Kimberly, there's an easement, and it's pretty wide enough that a large truck can go up, and it goes all the way up to the mobile home park, and it's maintained. Edison uses it. It's an easement for them. There's telephone poles. But what's happening is the residents of the mobile home park have tore down the fence. They're coming down. They're graffitiing the wall. And they're breaking his windows. They've broken multi-vehicles cars' windows. They're just, it's just not a good area. It's really bringing down the area in that right there by our West Covina homes. And I know I showed Fred Sykes' area. He was, came out and looked at it, and we're really thankful he did. And I understand that the mobile home park people need to get to school. They're going to Nogales. But they do have another route. And I'm all for, helping people, but when they're not taking care, when they're coming into our community and they're not taking care of it, we need to take care of the West Covina residents. We need to get a fence up. Shannon said he would put a gate up, but we also need more than that, and I really hope you guys go drive by and look at it because it's such a large area. They've replaced the gate twice, according to the neighbor that's here, but they literally kick it down. And the mobile home park has put a fence up, but they broke the fence down. And so we need something more durable, more secure. The neighbors are, they're scared. They're concerned. They've broken their windows. So I hope we can get this addressed. I know we don't have the funds to put a wrought iron fence that Shannon suggested, but because he's been dealing with it so long, I'm hoping we can do something. And I want to thank Shannon. He's been really great, and Lieutenant Patton has just meetings.
Mr. Mayor, speakers to their 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. I wasn't looking. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn Hart.
Sorry, I'm very intent on what's going on. Good evening to all of you city council members and staff. I have a packet for you. I mean, this is unknown that I would pass out anything, correct? And this is a plus. With me is Mario Del Fonte. He is also an archivist. He's at the Historical Society. He's West Covina Improvement Association. And while she's passing that out, I'm going to talk about the other thing that came up at the Planning Commission meeting that I wanted to address. I was impressed with the give and take, but at the end of the evening, I did not have a sense that there was going to be a time frame for staying in a guest house. And if we don't put a time frame on a guest house, then it becomes a residence. It can be a mother-in-law house. It can be the home of a single mom and her children who have come back for the support and the care of that family. Or it can be a rental. And none of those are a guest house. And so to call this a guest house and not put a time frame on it is a misnomer. And that's common sense. And so we need to think through that. Okay? Now, this is the packet. Your letter, perfect timing, because it validated, Steve, what the residents of West Covina already know. We're sports. That's all. We're sports. So we have been working for a year and a half, Mario? At least, on this packet. And we are about to launch a tourist bureau. And this card is going to go into every one of the 21 hotels in our city. And it is listing no sports. It is listing the Historical Museum, the Tenant Shoehorn Museum, the Japanese Community Center, Gulfster Park Nature Center, the Big League Dreams Baseball Complex, the Hearst Ranch, and what we have to share, the Covina Center for Performing Arts. Now, many, many years ago, pre-post office, there was a Sir George in this town. When I came here, there was a Sir George. It closed. I worked on making that live theater. And then the post office came. And so we lost that. There was no support from this city to find a place. And we went into the schools as much as we could. We went into the senior centers, and I'm telling you, I am never going to get old enough for a senior center because those people don't want their poker table moved or their pinochle table, whatever it is they play. And we had to build a set there. And we did it in a summer. We did 3 performances there. And so I was totally turned off by that. But by the same token, it was the only thing we had, okay? Now, the other thing that happened in this city that got no support, in this community, a young lady, very talented musician, grew up. She left and earned her doctorate. She traveled the world as a musician and came back to West Covina, to her roots, with a symphony. She couldn't believe that we didn't have a performing arts center. Could not believe it. She went to churches and tried to set up this 60-piece symphony in sanctuaries. They're not built for that. The cellos were out kind of like in the hall. And so they have now moved to Orange County. So anything that wasn't sports related, we have lost. And so we're going to advertise that this is what we have. Okay? Now this is a set of framed pictures. Those were introduced about a year ago in Covina, and they are for sale. They're framed in walnut. They're beautiful. They're all historical. This has been Maxon, our first mayor.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, Speaker Seeley, there are 5 minutes.
Is it 5 minutes already? That was fast. Okay, and this is the newsletter. You're on your own. I'm done.
Thank you. William Elliott, I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is William Elliott. My wife and I have a home and a business here in town. We love West Covina very much, and we always vote. Tonight I'm here to speak out in support of our God-given right of self-protection, not only to the City Council, but to the citizens of our fine city as well. We hold the Second Amendment to be sacrosanct, and this City Council's effort to limit our rights as law-abiding citizens to protect ourselves, our families, and our property is unconscionable, unconstitutional, and just plain wrong. It's astounding to me that one member of the City Council who carries a concealed weapon flatly opposes the right of a law-abiding citizen of the City of West Covina to do so as well. His wife has spoken out at least one occasion against guns here at this podium and supports the limiting the right of self-protection for all others, but not for her husband and her family. Fred Sykes doesn't think you should be trusted to protect yourself and your family in the same manner that he does. It's also astounding to me that the Mayor Steve Herford, who has served on this council for a quarter century, has never once, to my knowledge, spoken out in support of a law-abiding citizen's right of self-protection. He certainly has had the opportunity many times over the years to do so, but he has not, even when there was a conservative majority on this council. When Councilman Spence recently brought up the issue of concealed carry permits in West Covina, all 4 remaining members of this council fell silent. You could hear a pin drop in this chamber. Crickets. James Toma is an agent of his boss, the Attorney General. He's not going to oppose his boss. She is a big opponent of the Second Amendment, and we can't afford something like that influence on the City Council. He says he supports the Second Amendment, but he qualifies that statement with a laundry list of reasons why he opposes the right of concealed carry. Corey Warshaw says straight out that guns should be confiscated from law-abiding citizens. He stood in this very room and swore an oath to God that he would preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, yet the oath is in direct conflict with the very position he advocates. Concealed carry is sweeping the nation. Your job here is not to limit the rights of anyone. You do not possess more wisdom than the Founding Fathers who authored the Constitution. You should be lifting up the rights of citizens who voted you into office and not limiting the rights like little tyrants. There's a couple of major candidates for LA County Sheriff right now, Paul Tanaka and Todd Rogers, who say they understand that concealed carry of a firearm is a right and not a privilege. Are these just politicians lying to us to get elected? Perhaps. But this will no doubt become an issue in the next City Council election here in West Covina. And I'm personally going to work to make sure that will be. When people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Government is not the solution to the problem. Government is the problem. Why is the Second Amendment the only constitutional right that requires a permit to use? When only seconds count, the police are only minutes away. Just ask Andy McIntyre. Gun control protects only criminals who know full well that their law-abiding victims are unarmed. Please explain to me again how the Constitution is a living, breathing document that protects phone calls, emails, and text messages, but the Second Amendment only applies to muskets. It is the duty of the patriot to protect his country from the government. The Second Amendment has no exceptions. Your fears do not trump my rights. Criminals are being early released from state prison every day, and the wolf does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. The fact that the government would even consider repealing the Second Amendment is the very reason for which it was written. It's called the Bill of Rights, people, not the Bill of Needs. Why does a person need a gun if they're not expecting to be attacked? Well, I'm not expecting a fire to take place, but I still have a fire extinguisher. If gun owners were as crazy as the anti-gun advocates claim, there would be no anti-gun advocates. It's the Second Amendment that makes all the other amendments possible. Guns save lives every day. What gives you the right to limit my rights? A famous person said the best way to take control over a people and control them utterly is to take a little of their freedom, a little at a time, to erode their rights by 1,000 tiny and almost imperceptible reductions. In this way, people will not see those rights and freedoms being removed to the point, past the point to which these changes cannot be reversed. No, it wasn't Barack Obama that said that. It was Adolf Hitler, and he was right. Make West Covina a shall-issue city.
Okay, thank you. Joe Gardner.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, city staff, and members of the general audience. I'm here today just to call your attention to one issue of concern. I'm a candidate for the State Assembly, but I'm coming here tonight to talk to you about an issue that's in the State Assembly called district-based elections. There's a bill that is going to affect cities with over 100,000 in their population, and that will mandate by the state to go to district-based elections rather than our current at-large elections. So I think it's very important that the city, obviously the council, becomes aware of this issue and takes efforts to look at it very closely. And if, as a citizen, I'm concerned about taking our local control away from us and giving it to the state. So I think it's very important that we look at this bill very closely. It's AB 2715. It was presented by a former council member here, Roger Hernandez, and current assembly member for this district. And I think it's important that we understand the issue and the implications and the impact that it's going to have. It's going to cost the city quite a bit of money to redraw districts, money that the city doesn't have right now. It's struggling to provide some essential services, and I think, as a city, we need to be concerned about that. There are some other questions you have to ask. What is it? What business of the state to interfere with local elections? So, I mean, obviously local control is very important. I don't think the state should be dictating to us how to run our elections. And the second question is, with all the other economic issues that we have, why would this be the flavor of the day, the issue that should come to the forefront when we have people who are looking for jobs? Our economy is waning. We have a lot of things to take care of as far as state infrastructure. It's very expensive to put a bill like this through the state legislature, and it's obviously going to have a residual impact on us. So I ask for your consideration. You should all have a copy of this document that I drafted, and I would hope that you would have a close look at it. And if you're inclined to do a city resolution against this issue, I would hope you would consider that. The city of Clovis came out against this issue today. You can get a news report on that very same issue. It was on KBC, well, it's on ABC up in the Northern California, and you can get some understanding of what their concerns are too. So I thank you for your time tonight, and if you have any questions or would like to reach out to me, you can go to vote4joegardner.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Royal Brown?
Royal Brown at West Covina, a longtime resident of the city. I want to thank Mike Spence for bringing up the item 13. It's time that we do have a state audit. We've had reviews in the past by the federal government, tax rules about financing things, and the city was struck down, had to correct a lot of things on how the financing is done. Well, the state controller's office has certain other responsibilities different than the federal government. So I would urge you all to support the logical thing to have a state audit. We've changed the councils. It's time to review what the state has been doing and the city has been doing that may be in conflict with state law. So there's a lot of audits being suggested, and cities like Bell and stuff did a lot of things that only came out when the audits were done. So it's time for the city of West Covina's city council to urge the state to do an audit, and you'll have to participate in the financing of it. This isn't done free by the state. It does take money, and it's a priority. So you should be adopting this as a priority, because we've seen what's happened in the past with the federal. They have the right just to come in. They don't have to be asked. You don't have to give permission for the federal government to look at city government. So that's been the history of West Covina, because the city was struck down. That's the difference between the federal government and the state government. The state audits have to be requested, and that's what Mike is coming before you with a suggestion that the city find out what it's going to cost. That's the first step. So I would urge you to allow all 5 of you vote for a review by the state controller. And you see in the newspaper so many different exposures being going on in surrounding cities in this county. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Mayo?
Good evening, Mayor. Oops. Take 2. Good evening, Mayor Herford and Mayor Pro Tem. I came here to talk about 2 things. First of all, the West Covina Women's Club. We were able to give 6 scholarships to our youth of West Covina. One was Stephanie Nugo from Edgewood High School. From South Hills High School, it was Miranda Baker, Larissa Payne, Ms. Clark Akima Myers. And from West Covina High School, we were able to get KCB Shubin and Lydia Lopez. I was never so honored as to give these scholarships to these brilliant young women that showed amazing gifts and talents. So I wanted to let you know, thank you again for helping me out. I really, truly appreciate that. Until next year. And then the next thing is that I also am the TOPS leader, which is taking off pounds sensibly. And you've all gotten an invitation because we would like to honor one of our young ladies, Erica Hernandez, who lost an amazing amount of weight. Everybody's welcome to come to this event, but anyone that could come there would be greatly appreciated. But we just want to let you know that we are having a recognition event on June the 26th at Cortez Senior Center from 7 to 7:30, and there will be light refreshments. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Bobby Reyes?
Good evening, distinguished members of the City Council and the staff, my fellow residents of West Covina. Yesterday, sirs, I sent through our Honorable City Manager a love letter to you. And it is appropriate that tonight the prime movers of the Historical Society of West Covina are here, because this is an opportunity for you and your constituents to make history. No city has opposed the cable cartel. They just keep on adding and adding channels, requiring subscribers to pay. Now, if West Covina, as small as we are, if we take up the cudgels for the millions of baseball fans, we can make history. You can make and obtain political history. You can make yourselves, you can obtain political immortality. You see, the Dodgers, the new owners, have teamed up with the Time Warner Cable. As the owners, new owners, overpaid by $1 billion the purchase of the team. And they gave the old hated owner, Frank McCourt, ownership of the parking lots. Now they want to earn $8 billion in their contract with Time Warner by forcing all the other carriers to carry the Dodgers channel. The five of you can become America's Fabulous Five. If you lead the fight, we can knock off, because many, in fact, if you will ask the distinguished people here, who among you would like to pay $4 to $5 per month just to have the Dodgers TV channel as part of the services, the channels offered by Charter? I don't think many of you. And they will charge even after the end of the baseball season in October. I am working with two distinguished columnists of the LA Times, because they hate also the deal which David Lazarus described as a partnership in crime. But we, the people, will do not have your power. If you lead, the city of West Covina can make history. All the other cities will follow your example if you mandate the so-called a la carte pricing. We pay only for the channels that we would like, aside from the basic pay. There is no doubt 98% of the people or the subscribers hate the present practice of the cable cartel. Now, if you lead the fight, we can do the ballot initiative, and cities after cities will follow in the footsteps of West Covina. Perhaps the Historical Society can now come up with a book, how West Covina won the Western Front of the battle against the cable cartel. That's a good book. Now, we have to join each other, and we need you, distinguished leaders of West Covina. Forget the cable companies. They can only give you donations, but they cannot vote for you because they don't reside in West Covina. And we can make our city very popular because we are the new Boston with the tea revolution. So think it over, and I have said to you, and if you want to lead, we will follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Christopher Pentel.
Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm an attorney. I'm duly licensed to practice law in the state of California. My client is well known to you, Ms. Deborah D. Dominguez, who is here in the audience tonight, a 30-year-long veteran employee of this city, excellent standing. We just learned at the start of this meeting that Ms. Dominguez claimed, even though it does not appear on the agenda for tonight, was denied in closed session. The document I have asked to be handed out to you is a letter. You've seen it before. On or about April 21st of this year, I served the city clerk's office with Ms. Dominguez's demand, claim for damages. Attached to it were two attachments. One is a 14-page single-space letter, which is being distributed to you now. And number two is a right to sue notice issued pursuant to the Fair Employment and Housing Act. Ms. Dominguez has a claim for retaliation, hostile work environment. I'm sure, as you're aware, I don't know what you were briefed on in closed session, intentional infliction of emotional distress. And all of this is directly related to the actions of your current city manager, Mr. Christopher Chung. I have detailed on pages 2 mostly and 5 through 9 of this 14-page letter exactly the occurrences that when happened. But the short of the long is that Mr. Chung berated Ms. Dominguez, intimidated her, and when that didn't work to force her into retirement, he took away her staff, he increased her administrative duties, unheard of for a management-level employee. Before we get into that, though, I just want to make sure we understand some of the genesis of this hostility. These are not idle claims that Ms. Dominguez makes. As I'm sure you're aware, in 2009, Mr. Chung filed a harassment and racial discrimination suit against Councilman turned Assemblyman Roger Hernandez. This suit originally demanded $3 million. After $1.2 million in attorney's fees, the city prevailed. Ms. Dominguez made no secret of the fact, pursuant to her duties in risk management, that she did not think the lawsuit was meritorious. Evidently, the jury agreed. Mr. Chung lost, and in fact, the trial judge awarded the city $83,500 in costs and expenses. What was unheard of, however, and I'm not sure if the citizens of West Covina are aware of this, but for the first time, that costs were awarded by a trial judge. The city waived the cost of veritable gifts of public funds to Mr. Chung, even though he lost the lawsuit and had to pay that money. Nope, you don't have to. Get out of jail free card, don't have to pay it. Well, Ms. Dominguez said she wasn't happy with that either. And obviously Mr. Chung knew that. The resulting intimidation and retaliation is all outlined. I don't know if you've seen that letter before. I encourage you to read it. Now, it's unfortunate that you've decided to deny this claim, but as we litigators say, consider this a motion for reconsideration. Now, since it appears, unfortunately, that we will very soon be involved in litigation, I just want to take a few moments to tell you about my background. You know, I'm not some ambulance chaser. I spent the first half of my career at the elite Wall Street firm of Cadwalader, Wickersham, and Taft. I've worked for the FBI. I've worked for a federal judge. I've represented Enron, WorldCom, AOL, Dow Chemical, and Pfizer. And trust me, gentlemen, if I can win on behalf of Enron, I can win on behalf of Ms. Dominguez. Now, we all know that litigation is obviously expensive. According to publicly available records, he spent $1.2 million defending Mr. Chung's lawsuit. I would encourage you to engage in a discussion with us. Now, you are, of course, gentlemen, free to ignore this 14-page letter. You could say, oh, we already ruled on this in closed session, even though that is irregular. I don't know why it was a closed session. The people of West Covina have a right to know what's been going on in this city. You can ignore it, but you're going to see it again, except next time it's going to be formatted differently. It's going to be on pleading paper, and there's going to be causes of action attached to it, and also a prayer for relief. We'll be asking for general damages, lost income, punitive damages related to intentional infliction of emotional distress, attorney's fees, and penalties. I would encourage you, gentlemen, to save the taxpayers of West Covina money. I would encourage you to work with us to resolve this suit. Ms. Dominguez, however, is ready to move forward with the lawsuit. She has 30 years of experience in risk management. She is well known of the responsibilities of a litigant. Frankly, you have everything, well, not quite everything. I've held a few pertinent facts back, but you essentially have our complaint, and you essentially have our discovery responses, gentlemen. We are ready for litigation, though I sincerely hope that we can work it out amicably beforehand. Thank you for your time this evening.
Elsie Messman.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and everyone here tonight. My name is Elsie Messman, and I've been a resident of West Covina for 41 years. I'm here tonight to speak about the audit in the city for the state controller, by the state controller, going back to 2005. They would be fair and know what to look for and connect the dots. We all know the same audit company we had for 8 years, and look what happened to them. And yes, I understand Mr. Tui's remarks in the paper, but we must remember for many years we had no transparency in the meetings, so if you didn't go to the meetings, you didn't know what was happening, and that's why we need an audit. Mr. Tui wanted more police officers, but when he was on council, he let about 30 officers go and thought nothing of it. But now that he's not on council, he wants more officers. He's only trying to divert the attention from the audit to the police. If he has nothing to hide, then he shouldn't worry. And as we all know, Toohey, Hereford, Sanderson, Lane, Sotelo, McIntyre voted at numerous times at what they wanted, not what the resident wanted, costing the residents and the city of West Covina millions of dollars in lawsuits and appeals. Out of 6 council members, only 1 remain. Why? Even Sanderson is riding out of town, even though she says she loves this city. And there is a question regarding the fee for such an audit. This city seems to find money when needed for their own interests, not what's best for the city. Attorney fees and lawsuits, including, like the gentleman before me said, current city manager, $100,000, Peaching Lee, approximately $445,000, and I think this would cover the audit. Then on March 27th, we paid $34,000 for January and $22,000 for February to Alvarez Glassman. So that's $56,000. If we look around, we are paying the city manager $195,000 plus benefits a year. I am not so sure that he has the experience or knowledge to be a city manager. And we are paying $8,000 a month retainer to the attorney. Now we have an assistant manager that counts the people in the audience. He has never asked any questions, never answered any questions, and I don't think he's doing this on his own time. And if he's getting comp time, that should be stopped because Ms. McKay is much more qualified. So don't be telling us we don't have any money. We had $50 million in reserves before all these lawsuits and appeals. It would be nice to know how this money was spent. We need to know if all the projects were put out to bid or were they just past council clients or friends, as there was a lot of money spent to get 3 council people back on the council. It is now up to the council to have an audit of this city, once and for all, so we know that everything was done by the law. Don't let an unqualified individual lead you in the wrong direction. Use common sense. Remember, figures don't lie, but liars can figure. Thank you.
Phil Marino.
Members of the City Council, members of the city staff, and members of the audience. I have page 3 of Peaching Lee's CGM's lawsuit. And there's a timeline that should be followed here. Item number 11 on page 3 reads, on February 21st of 2012, the West Covina Improvement Association filed a petition for a writ of mandate challenging the city's legal ability to sell the property to the plaintiff and alleging that the city failed to perform all acts necessary to ensure that the sale of the property and approval of the project were compliant with all applicable laws and regulations. That is in February of 2012. I went in front of the Oversight Board, and the date's July the 5th of 2012. And what I asked was this question. And here's the answer of the city manager to that question. The question, the city has not updated its general plan since 1985, nor has it revised its housing elements since 1995. So how can the city approve any redevelopment projects if it has not complied with California laws governing zoning and planning? Want to know what his answer is? The city is not required to update the general plan. That's the city manager talking. February is when the West Covina Improvement Association files a lawsuit to stop that building. You said it was a good deal. He gets up in front of the city council, says we've complied with all the rules. Please pass it, it's a great project. In August, a flat out lie from the city manager. On November 27th of 2012, the Superior Court of Los Angeles granted the aforementioned writ of mandate, finding that the city did not have all the legal ability to sell the property to the plaintiff, and that the city failed to perform all acts necessary to ensure that the sale of the property and the approval of the project were compliant with all applicable laws and regulations. This audit, 2 years ago I asked for an audit with the redevelopment agency. An acquaintance of Tui tells me he uses it as a slush fund, trips to China. You were the mayor when Squires was supposed to have your signature on a document. You were elected to the council in 1990. In 2006, your signature is not even on the contract. So when Squires goes up to the city manager's office and enters into a closed session, didn't you ask, what are you doing here? I didn't sign your contract. I wouldn't let you handle one more penny of my tax dollars. Okay. See. PASMET signed a contract and then states that he did not have the authority to sign it. Here it goes. It was previously pointed out in an email dated 14 April of 2014 that Squire Sanders, during the litigation associated with the Auto Mall, successfully argued the fact that the mayor had not signed a subordination agreement as required by Section 40602 of the Government Code, rendered that the agreement could be of no effect. Additionally, the former city manager, Andrew Pasmat, during his deposition relating to that matter, was specifically asked by Squire Sanders' attorney Owens as to whether he, Pasmat, believed that he had the authority to sign the subordination agreement. Pasmat's response was, and I quote, "It's my belief that I did not have the authority to do so." Therefore, Squire Sanders is well aware of this requirement and should be demanded a proper execution of the contract prior to providing services. This last Thursday, I asked at the Oversight Board meeting, May the 1st of 2014, that City Manager Chris Chung was asked about the Squires contract by members of the Oversight Board. And can West Covina City Manager sign contracts without the mayor's signature? Chris Chung said, "We are looking into the matter." So who are we? Does he have the right to sign a contract without the mayor's signature? I understand from Lloyd Johnson it's $30,000. There's a lack of trust in this city by the citizens. Why did the city choose to fight the West Covina lawsuit? On what basis did the city attorney advise to take this case to trial? The CGM issue, the failure of the local agencies to consider Surplus Land Act issues in this matter is a significant reason why the actions of the city are legally flawed. Legally flawed. And she says that the city employees acted on poor legal advice. I questioned the city attorney.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
questioned the actions of the
5
mayor.
minutes.
You need an audit. You need an audit of the redevelopment agency.
Thank you.
I don't trust the city government as it exists now.
John Shoemaker.
As you've heard different people talk tonight, giving different reasons for an audit, I agree with them. And something that you can write down that I agree with Mike Spence on his request for an audit. It's needed. One of the things that I sent out an email to a bunch of people just before this was put on the agenda, making the remark that here's what the city staff is going to say, we don't need it. We get an audit every year. Well, so did Enron, so did WorldCom, so did the city of Bell, so did Stockton, Vallejo, San Bernardino. We all know the condition they're in. An audit that you get is not an audit that is designed to uncover fraud. It is designed to make sure you follow the accounting rules, that you did not capitalize something that should have been expensed and vice versa. That you basically followed, some of the things that you're supposed to do accounting. It would not necessarily go through and say, this should not have been charged to redevelopment. And even if they did, they would go to people like the city manager and say, this really belonged to redevelopment? And they'd come up with a reason why. One of the biggest things you have to remember when you read the audit opinion or you read the section, they specifically state, we rely on the representations made by management. Well, if management is misleading them, they're not trained, nor is their job to find out if he's really telling the truth. You know, an example I give, the Squires Sanders contract. Considering the expense in an audit sample, that would have probably been one of the things they looked at. How come they didn't go, time out, there's a problem here? Probably a couple things. They never asked for it, which would be bad. They saw it, and the signature page was taken off. Here's the contract. Or they were given everything and didn't know what the law is behind it. And I don't think they'd probably be expected to know that. The other thing that goes on is most audits are conducted by by people who, for the most part, are just out of school. For 30 years, I've worked in finance, CFO of a company overseeing the audits. Some guy who just got out of school a couple years ago come walking in and ask a question, I'll go, that was handled last year, don't ask me again. Scurries away. Usually doesn't come back and asks for it again. Or I'll give him some answer like, did you really graduate from accounting and pass the CPA exam? You're asking me that question? Embarrassed, they'll scurry away again. Maybe you'll get a manager who's been there a little bit longer. You know, I basically, when I'm dealing with auditors, I feel like I'm Nolan Ryan pitching to a Little League team. The things I can blow by them. And I'm telling them the truth, let alone try to cover something up. We need this because you've had people whose ability or even to tell the truth has been brought into question, and it's been a divisive issue within the city. Spending this money for them to come in to look at things will do a couple things. It'll either say, you know, you're right, there were some misdoings here, and the following people need to go to jail, or the following people need to return the money. Or they'll say, you know, things are just fine. And the issue will go away, and you can concentrate on correcting what's wrong in our city. The other thing that you look at this, and I hope this isn't the case, is that some of you might not be for it because we got away with it. The things weren't found, and we're stopping it on a go-forward basis, so no harm, no foul. That's equivalent to telling a police officer who goes up to a house where somebody was robbed and say, well, since the robber isn't there anymore, don't waste your time investigating the crime any longer. For you to say no is equivalent to saying, if a crime was committed, we don't care. You become part of that. You've now become part of the crime because you're perpetuating it. So please don't do that. Vote for this thing. The money will be well spent, and it'll bring us back to where we should be. Oh, and just as I talk about different things, I am a CPA also, so I kind of had a little idea of what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Herford and council members. Tonight, I'm going to be very blunt because I'm very disturbed about this. First, I would like to know who is running our city. Is it the city attorney and the attorneys for Squire and Sanders and Owens? We were told there was a global settlement between the city and Alhanson Imports that would end this wasted tax dollars, which we will never recover. After the settlement was supposed to have happened, I had a meeting with our city manager about a week or so later on a different issue. I asked him how it was going. I was told that Ziad hadn't signed the agreement yet. Come to find out that the attorney Owen hadn't drawn it up for Ziad's lawyer to look at it. When he did, it wasn't exactly what was agreed to. So now it's still costing our taxpayers thousands more because of this attorney. So I ask you again, who's in charge? Now, about Councilmember Spence's item about having a state forensic audit and the cost. First of all, we can't afford not to have a forensic audit. During the campaigning, it was brought up by at least one of the new council members that we need a forensic audit. We have gone through over $50 million in the last few years from our reserve. We need accountability where that money went. We're still spending thousands on litigation that was supposed to have ended. If we are supposed to be promoting transparency, a good step in the right direction is to okay a forensic audit, and anything else you fail. I hope tonight you will look past how much a forensic audit will cost and look at the trust you will gain from the residents of West Covina. This forensic audit has to be done by the state, not by a firm who has done it in the past. We don't need to sugarcoat anything that is uncovered. West Covina has gotten itself in a financial problem. As West Covina residents and taxpayers, we have the right, and it is your duty as our duly elected officials to find out exactly how this happened. If a forensic audit shows our past councils just made some bad decisions that cost our city to be in this situation, this council and further councils can learn by it and hope they don't make the same mistakes. Tonight, I am asking you to do the right thing, end the litigation on the Al Hansen lawsuit like we were told you did. Stop letting the attorney do what he wants and do what he is told to do, and have the state do a forensic audit. Let's find out what happened with the redevelopment. I know this council has shown so far they want to regain the trust of the residents of West Covina. So let's restore the trust in our city, show the transparency that was heavily talked about during the campaigning. Let's keep our city moving in the right direction, and a forensic audit will be a great step in the right direction. Oh, and by the way, what I'd like to know, in addition to the $900,000 that was paid to CGM, how much did the city pay Thomas M. Magruder and Matthews Kelly to represent the city, because Glassman was named in the lawsuit? Thank you, and I'd like to have that in writing.
Okay, thank you. That concludes oral communications. I think for the most part, most of the comments tonight were directed at either items on the agenda. There was somebody that talked about neighborhood watch follow-ups, and I know our staff's taking care of that. We did take a position on the legislation regarding districts in any city over 100,000. The council unanimously voted 5-1 to oppose that legislation. And with that, is there any other comments from the council? Mayor Pro Tem Sykes.
Thank you, Mayor Herford. Mr. Freeland, Christopher Freeland, Mr. Freeland. Regarding the protecting the pocketbook of the cable viewers, the a la carte or separate pricing for how they want to view. Do you have any thoughts on that, sir?
I will do my best, Mayor Pro Tem Sykes. As many of you are aware, the state of California deregulated the cable industry back in 2006, and so the franchise agreements that cities had with individual cable television operators were in essence eliminated, and so now the cable franchises are actually awarded through the state of California. For example, the Charter Communications and Verizon Fios are offered here in West Covina. They both have state franchises. With regards to the residents' question regarding the city trying to take an effort to step up and make some comments towards the availability of the Dodger games or the a la carte pricing, that's actually a business decision of those individual companies. We could follow up with the FCC, but that would be the understanding at the FCC with the state regulatory offices, and see if there's anything that can be done further than that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions by the council? Okay, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Does anybody wish an item to be pulled from the consent calendar? Okay, we'll pull item number 11. Any other items? Do we have a motion to approve all items but item 11?
Mr. Mayor, so moved.
Moved by Warshaw. Second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Sykes. Roll call vote, please.
Spence. Sykes.
Aye.
Toma.
Aye.
Warshaw.
Aye.
Herford.
Aye. Carries 5-0. We'll go to item 11, the West Covina citywide sewer service charge. This is to set a public hearing date on the method of collection and fee increase. Councilmember Spence.
Yes, the reason I pulled this is just the wording of the resolution, because in all these, when we've been approving the public hearings, it talks about different alternatives for the council to decide on what we would do, and you know, there is no guarantee there would be a fee increase in here. So I think the public hearing should read something about, you know, possible fee increases or potential fee increases rather than implying there would be a fee increase, because the council hasn't made that decision yet based on, you know, the public hearing, et cetera, or our discussions. But when you read the actual resolution, it's different than the one previously, which we approved on 10, which just talks about the, you know, to approve the citywide assessments commencing in. But we haven't set those assessments, you know, and this one talks about a fee increase, and we haven't decided to do that yet. So I just think if we do a public hearing, it should be potential fee increases rather than saying we are going to do them. That's all.
Is there a problem changing that language, just to add the word potential in there? I understand what Councilmember Spence is saying.
Because we haven't made that decision yet.
Let me try to field that a little bit. The landscape district is an assessment district.
Oh, I understand.
This one is a sewer fee district. So
right.
the assessment district can't have a fee without a vote of the people or a vote of the actual owners of the property.
No, but no, that's
in this one, in the sewer district, it doesn't require a vote of the owners. I mean, that's the basic difference.
No.
But can you put in potential increase? Yes.
Yeah, no, I understand the difference. The difference is, though, the way it's worded with the assessment districts, there still can be an increase in the assessment that the council approves within the 2% that was approved by the voters under Prop 218. So we could still be doing an assessment increase, for example, for item 10. But we haven't talked about that, and we haven't decided that. And I'm just saying that the reading here is different. I understand the differences between the two fees, but I just think we should use the word potential fee increase rather than imply that's something we've already signed off on.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, the city engineer has indicated to me that there is a 1% increase that's built into our code, and so even if under the what's called the Omnibus Fees Act or Omnibus Fee Mitigation Act, there is a provision that you can have in a percentage increase, and we've done that. So there is a potential for the increase, and there's no problem in indicating that if you wish.
Okay. That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, because we're setting a public hearing. We could vote against it. So yeah. So let's put the word potential.
And I'll move that if we include the word for a public hearing on the method of collection and potential fee increases.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Councilmember Warshaw. Roll call, please.
Spence.
Aye.
Sykes.
Aye.
Toma.
Aye.
Warshaw.
Aye.
Herford.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we have a public hearing tonight.
Yeah, CDBG.
This matter set for public hearing is a consideration of proposed fiscal year 2014-15 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Action Plan. City Clerk, will you verify proper legal notice has been given?
That's verified.
This time I shall open the public hearing on the proposed fiscal year 2014-15 CDBG Action Plan. There will first be the presentation of the staff reports, then we shall hear from comments from the public. Mr. Chung, who will present the staff report.
Mr. Kelly McDonald will present the staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. The matter before you is the 2014-2015 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Action Plan. Now, because the city receives an annual grant of CDBG funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, the city is required to prepare an annual action plan that details how the grant funds will be spent. This is the second of two required public hearings. The first on March 4th, the City Council authorized staff to draft a 14-15 action plan that would be consistent with the approved 2010-2015 consolidated plan priorities, as well as to incorporate the continuation of current city programs. The consolidated plan priorities are shown in Table 1 of the report. The proposed action plan is included as Attachment 1. Notice for the hearing was published on March 28th, and the draft plan was available for a 30-day public review period as required by HUD. No written public comments were received during that time. In 14-15, the city will receive $789,590 in CDBG funds. This represents a 4% reduction from the current year, and it's the fourth consecutive year of reductions. Fourth consecutive year. With additional program income, staff estimates total available resources in the amount of $869,590. The proposed action plan budget is detailed in the report. If approved, the distributions will be incorporated into the current budget process relative to public services specific allocations, and recipients will be presented for consideration at a future council meeting. With that, staff recommends that the City Council approve the 2014-2015 CDBG action plan as detailed in Attachment 1. That concludes my report.
Okay. Council, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll now open up the public comment portion. I don't have any cards. Don't see anybody that wants to speak, so I'll close the public testimony portion of the public hearing. Do we have any comments or questions from the council now? Do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Okay, moved by Councilmember Toma to approve. I'll second. All those, or let's have a roll call, please.
Spence.
Aye.
Sykes.
Aye.
Toma.
Aye.
Warshaw.
Aye.
Herford.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is a successor agency. We did have one item pulled from the agenda on that, so let's, if I could entertain, or actually let's call to order the successor agency. City Clerk, roll call.
Chairman Herford.
Here.
Vice Chairman Sykes.
Here.
Board Member Spence. Here. Board Member Toma.
Here.
Board Member Warshaw.
Here.
Okay, item SA1 was removed from the agenda, so that's a change. We don't have anyone to speak under oral communications, so we'll move to the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent calendar.
Motion by Warshaw,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Toma. All those, roll call vote, I apologize.
Spence. Sykes.
Aye.
Toma.
Aye.
Warshaw.
Aye.
Herford.
Aye.
And that is the consent calendar minus the minutes.
Right.
SA1.
SA1 was pulled. Any board member comments? Okay, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor. The report, or should we wait until?
I'm sorry, which report? Yeah. Okay, do we have a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
Moved by Councilman Warshaw, second by Mayor Pro Tem Sykes. All those in, do we need a roll call on adjournment? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, next item on the agenda is council member reports. Anybody have a report? We'll get on to yours in a sec. Mayor Pro Tem Sykes, did you have a report to me?
Yes, I attended the Southern California Council of Governments conference. And just to mention a few items that were covered, of course, city planning for a healthy and safe community, and that, excuse me, bring things home for us since we're in the process of putting together a general plan. Also, there's the idea of when we look forward to dealing with our park spaces, just a simple study which brought out that when you live within 1 mile of a park, that generally makes it easier and more likely that you will get out and do healthy things, in particular in the park that's nearby. The other thing was community gardens, dealing with how we have in the past, we've had locations where we live that were once farms, and now it's difficult to find locations where you can get fresh fruit and vegetables. And so they're, like in LA, for instance, there's a concentration to work on community gardens. And even in West Covina, we do have our outlets for fresh food. We have the farmers market. And then there's also the, at Hearst Ranch, there's a partnership with the school district and Kaiser Permanente, where we have a budding community garden that's fueled by our youth. So they're learning to change their lifestyle. Also, the goal line. That was a pretty sad situation for those of us who like to use Ontario and would want to perhaps use mass transportation to get there. That has been put on hold and not approved by San Bernardino, because they're looking at 30 other options. So it doesn't look like anytime soon we're going to be getting mass transit that takes us quickly from West Covina to the Ontario airport. There was also the matter of breaking the cycle of poverty. And as we all know, it starts with jobs. And one of the other things that's was really, it's common knowledge, but most of us don't really act on it in the areas where we are having trouble with breaking that cycle, and that's the education. And they were really focusing on how to improvise early prevention, and that included dealing with the parents to help break the cycle of poverty, try to get the children off on the right track to study and prepare themselves for college. And then, of course, there's the crime aspect of when people get to be the teenage years and young adulthood. And the other thing is how to, again, refocus and not let our system fail those youth who are somehow slipping through the cracks and are dropping out of school. So it's just a matter of bearing down and coming up with new ideas to try and help them get more excited and more focused on completing their education, because everybody here knows that the key to success starts with education. Then, of course, at home, here we've spent a lot of resources, and we're still dealing with the idea of our auto mall. And one of the things that jumped out is when you look at some of our campuses, there's a movement afoot that you don't need to have a car. And on some of the campuses, if you have to drive someplace, you just simply go and rent a car. So that really puts focus on us as to where we're going in the future, because these young folks, that's how they're adjusting their life, not to expend so much money for automobiles and focusing on mass transit. So with our master plan, our plan that we're putting together, we need to be thinking definitely how do we develop ideas and think about what we want growing in our community. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 13. Councilmember Spence.
I don't know if you have any more information. I don't know if there's any more information, but obviously I would like to go ahead and move this item. Oh, I do want to thank staff, before we do that, thank staff, because there were actually two things I requested, and one of them was the posting of warrants for the last couple of years, and I guess that's going to happen in the next week after everything is redacted, and that, didn't require special stuff to do that, so I do appreciate that, and grateful that it's able to take place as well. So, but I want to go ahead and move this item.
Okay, we have a motion to move forward with the request for City Council to instruct city staff to prepare a report regarding the process and cost of an audit by the State Controller. We have a second? Yeah, that's sure. Yeah. Council. Do we have a second? Second by Councilmember Toma. Councilmember Toma.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure that, I know the staff's already tried to contact the office, but I think there are a lot of different things that are expected out of an audit, so it would be helpful to get the, as much as possible, because there are all different kinds of audits, and scope, for example, like how long back does the Controller's Office go on these kinds of audits? There's, I know in some cases, like the redevelopment agency has been audited for a city, in other cases just the city. So determining what could be gotten out of it, and as well as the cost, is, I think, important. I think there are some people who would just like to know, someone said, like, where the money went. And so those kinds of questions in terms of what the audit will accomplish, I think will be very helpful for us to have that info as much as can be gotten the next time this comes up.
Okay. Councilman Worsham?
Mr. Mayor, my concern is that the state doesn't do a full audit. You have to narrow it in scope and tell them what you want audited. Tonight we heard we want redevelopment audited. Other people have asked for different items to be audited, so I think we need to be more specific on what we want audited and how far back we want to go to look at the cost, to see if it makes sense, if there's money recoverable, or should we be looking at a company outside of the state to do an audit. There are forensic audits that are done by companies that are very large. That is not, quote unquote, an audited financial statement. Look at preparing a financially audited statement. It's looking at practices and where money has been spent. So I think we need to not just look at the state if we're going to do this. We should be looking at outside companies to do a forensic audit and see what the difference in costs are.
Mayor Pro Tem Sykes.
Thank you, Mayor. I also support this item. I've been here looking at the city issues since 2006, and I'm hoping that this exam will give us a good direction to go as to how we can make a fine decision to spend the money for an audit, and specifically what we should target. I think that for the few residents that are paying attention, this is an extremely important crossroads for us as a council to try and get as close as we can to transparency. We've been working. The city staff has been doing an excellent job of fulfilling our requests to bring things forward that had not been disclosed in the past, and we're still doing what we can as a council and as staff to work together to get the confidence of the people back. So, and that's the main reason I'm supporting this, is to try to get our constituents comfortable with the new transparency mode. Thank you.
Okay. It's been an interesting analysis. We really don't have much information at this stage, but a couple things happened since the item was discussed, and One of them was an email that I got from Mr. Kaufman that basically talked about how 2 people had already requested an audit of the state controller, and they were informed that out of a list of, I guess, 79 requirements by the state controller's office, the city of West Covina didn't rank high enough to receive an audit. So I thought that was interesting. Our city has asked for information on the cost of the audit. I have no problem with an audit by anybody. Our staff is professional and they do everything in a fiduciary manner. If there's political considerations about decisions made by the city council, that's totally out of the realm of an audit. It's not, everything's voted on this city council. If there was a problem with a signature on a document and that's incorrect, we've been informed by our city attorney that if the vote was taken on the city council to authorize somebody else, it's still a true contract and it has to be honored. But if it's not, I have no problem with following whatever the lead is legally on that. But I wouldn't want to spend a lot of money on an audit. There's a lot of other things we could do with money, but this request is to have staff come back with a report regarding the process and the cost of an audit, so I don't have any problem with that. So with that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Well, I'm sorry, roll call vote.
Spence.
Aye.
Sykes.
Aye.
Toma.
Aye.
Warshaw.
Aye.
Herford.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
As a matter of clarification, included in that, is there, did you want us to bring back a scope of work, like of the request of what's to be included in that?
That's fine, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
They have scope as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I think the motion is to bring a report regarding the process and costs. So whatever their process is, I don't think any of us are aware of it. And Councilmember Warshaw brought up forensic audit, stuff like that. So any of that stuff's fine. Okay, any other comments? I have a comment I want to, or a question, actually an item I want to have agendized. Years ago, we had, for new homes built around the BKK landfill, a prospective home awareness pamphlet. And I assume there's still one that has to be produced for homes that are close to the landfill. I'm not sure if, I don't think our code has changed, but we are building new homes within 2,000 feet of the Class 1 landfill. So I'd like to see if we have they called it a FAP document. I'd like to see if we still have that, and if the homeowners are handing those out. I don't think they're selling homes yet, but I think they need to be made aware of that to disclose that there was a toxic landfill there and that you know, the health effects and the risks effects and things like that. So if I could have that agendized for for a request for information, that'd be fine. Any other items? Okay, we are ready for a motion for adjournment. I'll make the motion. Okay, I made the motion, second by Spence. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.